Hello and welcome to Control-Delete Tutorials. My name is Jason and I want to do a continuation on the series that we're starting here. If you haven't seen the first one, that would be this one here, C# Basics for Unity, Variables and Methods, where we just kind of went over creating some different variables and talking about two of the methods that exist in Unity. So if we go back here, we can just kind of see we created this first class. And we'll just click and bring that up. And our first class just kind of talked about different variable data types, how to set them up, the difference between us having member variables and local variables, and putting different, adding different variables together of different types like strings, and then the difference between the start method and the update method. So go back and watch that video. In this video, we're going to continue on and we're going to move into if statements. So with the if statement, what we can do is we can run code based off of selecting whether or not something is true or not. So we can kind of have these conditional statements. So I'm going to get rid of the code that I already created here before. And we'll just kind of start fresh. And I can leave these, variables that we created, and we'll just use those for what the we'll use these variables for what we're going to do. So in the start method, I'll create an if statement, and if the if statement is true, it'll do one thing. And we're not only going to talk about if statements, but we'll talk about if else and else if statements and how those work together. But first, let's start simple. So we'll start with the if statement. So an if statement would look like this. We start off with the keyword if, a left parentheses, and when we put in our left parentheses, it'll give us the matching right parentheses. And in the parentheses, we're looking for a condition to be met. So a condition to be met could be anything. For instance, if I was using the age integer variable that we had up top on line 8, if I was using that, I could say something like if age equals, now we use two equal signs when we're comparing values, when we're comparing to see whether or not a statement is true or false. So we use equal for comparison. So if the age equals 36, that would be our condition. Now in this case, we know that currently the age is set to that, so it is true. So we'll hit enter, left curly bracket, enter. Now, if this statement is true, it's going to do whatever statements appear here in the if statement. So I'll just print a message. So we'll do print again. And we'll print a message that just says age equals 36. Yeah, that'd be really confusing for us if we put 365, seeing how we know it does equal 36. So in this case, we have an if statement. Okay, if age equals 36, we print this message. So we'll go ahead and save that. We'll go back to Unity here. I'll move these closer together just to make that easier to click back and forth to. All right, so I created this empty game object that I could just apply my script to. And if I go to the console, and we'll just hit clear in case there's anything in there. If I hit play, we'll see I get the message age equals 36. Now if you're getting multiple lines of code here just for this message, in the previous video we had talked about turning off the show timestamp and just setting our log entry to 1. So that way, we're only seeing one thing here for now. We don't need to worry ourselves with timestamps and things of that nature for what we're doing. All right, so age equals 36, but what if our age doesn't equal 36? What if our age equals something else? What if it's greater than 36 or less than 36? So let's change this up. So let's not go with just 36, but let's check 50. So if age is greater than 50, we'll get one message, and if age is less than 50, we'll get another message. So how do we do that with only one condition? Well, we can't. We need to have a second condition. So we can use what's called an if-else. So in that case, we have if, and we'll use the keyword else, left curly bracket, enter. Now, if we only have one line of code, technically you don't need to have these brackets here. The same could be said for an if statement. If you only have one statement following the if, then you don't have to have brackets. But since we're just learning, let's have the brackets here because we know everything that happens in between the brackets belong to if, and everything that belongs in these belong to else. Okay, so here we'll say if age is, we'll say greater than or equal to 50, we get a message that says age is greater than or equals 50. And if it doesn't, we'll assume that it has to be less than. So here we'll print another message, print. And we could have just copied and pasted age is less than 50. Okay, so that gives us our if and else. So we'll save this. Now our age is currently 36, so we'll test that and get one message. So if I come back here, we'll clear out. We'll let the code compile. All right, age is 36, so if we hit play, age is less than 50. That's true, age is less than 50. If we change this to 65 and we hit play again, it'll clear out because it clear on play. Age is greater than or equal to 50. But let's say we want to check multiple things. So in that case, we're going to use an else if statement. So the way we do that is we have our first statement. So let's say if age is less than, let's say 100. Okay, if age is greater than or equal to 100, we'll still have this message. And then we can say else if, and we put our parentheses here. We could say else if age is less than or equal to let's do if age is less than 25, we'll say age is less than 25. And then finally, what if it's between those? So what if it is less than 100 but greater than 25? Well, here we could have our else. Technically, you can have the brackets that way. I prefer them this way. That's just my own preference. All right, so here we could have, let's go ahead and just copy and paste here. Control C, Control V. So age is greater than, let's do an equal sign here, less than or equal to 25. Okay, less than or equal to 25, got an extra space there. So here we can say age is greater than 25 and less than 100. And that should kind of cover everything there. Now we could have as many else if statements as we want in a row, but we probably don't want to, just overdo it here and have a million of these things. All right, so we'll Control Shift S to save all. Come back to Unity, let the code compile, and it relaunches there. So we'll hit play. So first we'll check if it's over 100. So we know that's over 100. We'll hit play. Okay, age is greater than or equals 100. That's true, it is greater than. If I set it to 100, we should get the same message if we did everything correctly. Yep, same message. And if I set this to 10, should get our other message. Age is less than or equal to 25. And if we go somewhere between 25 and 100, age is greater than 25 and less than 100. And that is also true. Okay. Now we could see other examples here. So some of the examples, I'm going to go ahead and delete these. So let's say we're using a bool rather than an int. And float is going to be very much the same as the way int worked. So our if statement will look like this. If, so let's say we have a door that is locked. We could say is locked. So is locked. Now you could say equals true. But we're dealing with a Boolean. And in this case, we don't have to say equals true because a bool itself is either true or false. So we can simply leave that as if is locked. So that means it equals true. I could print a message saying the door is locked. Okay, so that covers us there. And likewise, we could use an else statement because it's either one or the other. So it's either true or false. So in this case, we'll say, we'll just copy and paste. The door is unlocked. Okay, save that. We'll come back. Currently, the door is not locked. So if we hit play, the door is unlocked. Yep, that's true. The door is unlocked. And if I check it, the door is locked. Now, what you might be asking is, well, how do I check if it's false without doing this? Let's say I only wanted to have one condition here. So how do I check if it's false? Well, again, we could do equals equals false. And that would work. Okay, so that would be unlocked. But we also have a shorter way of writing that, which is using another logic operator, which is the exclamation point. So the exclamation point in front of our Boolean means that it is false. So if it is false, we'll get this message. And if it's not false, we get no message. So not false, but true. Kind of an odd way to say that. All right, so it is locked. Okay, no message. Actually, that should be reversed. If it's false, is that right? Oh well. All right, and if we uncheck it, yeah, unlocked. So the door is unlocked, right? So we get that message. So that is how we use the exclamation point for checking whether it's false. Now, we can also do multiple checks within the same if statement. So we're just going to keep our construction here for the if statement. Let's say we're checking if both strings are correct here. So here, if I want to check two things in the same if statement, I can say if first name equals Jason. Now, if I want to check another one, I can do and. So here, if I do and, that's kind of like the equal sign. So we use two of them to check both for that. So if the first name is Jason and our last name equals alt, then we can print the message. this guy is Jason Alt, the host of Control Alt Delete tutorials. I have a mic in my way, so the way I'm typing, I have to kind of look around things a little bit. All right, so that would be the message we would get here if both this and this are true. Okay. Else, same idea. This guy is Markiplier. I don't know why. All right. So if I'm not Jason Alt, I have to be Markiplier. Okay, so let's save that. Oh, we have errors. Unexpected symbol. Oh, I hate it when it opens up the software when it's already open. It's really annoying. All right, so let's see where their error is. Line 23. What are we missing? Line 23. Print. This guy is. Oh, I'm dumb. Curly brackets, guys, very important. Accidentally hit parentheses. So maybe I am Markiplier. I don't know if he knows how to program. Somebody ask him. I don't have his number. All right, so we'll hit play. All right, this guy's Jason Alt, the host of Control Delete tutorials. Good for him. And if we put another name in here, so this would be one of them's true, but the other one, I don't know who Dale Alt is, but it's probably handsome. This guy is Markiplier. Dale Alt, definitely Markiplier. We can also just check one of these things. So in this case, if I want to check either or, I can use two straight lines. Now this is going to be a key that is, well, I don't know. On your keyboard it might be different, but you're looking for two straight up and down lines with one of the slashes as the alternate version of the key. You have to hit shift to get this. So if it's Jason or it's Alt, then we can say something else like, this guy is a Jason or an Alt. Either way, watch out. And if it's neither of those, then it's definitely Markiplier. So let's check that out. So in this case, we'll leave Dale. Now let's hit play. This guy is Jason or an Alt. Either way, watch out. In that case, he would be an Alt. But I don't know where I'm getting these names. So. All right, it's neither Jason or Alt, so this guy is Markiplier. If you didn't know, Markiplier's real name is Dale Jensen. True fact. So we've covered if statements, else if statements, else statements. We've covered the and operator. We covered the or operator, and we covered the not. So if I were to just recap here, give us a couple slashes here. So that is and. That is or. Oh, okay, I wanted to autocorrect me there. And this is not. Okay, so those are our logic operators that we could use in if statements. You can use them elsewhere too, but primarily that would be where we're going to use them. And that's all for this video. So hopefully you're liking this series. If you are, give me a like and keep watching. I'm going to keep posting more of these. If you leave a comment on something you'd like to see, I will try to work it into one of the videos. And yeah, so thanks for watching.